Hello and welcome to another episode of TEPSA Presents, one of our member spotlight episodes. My name is Todd Nesloni. I'm the Director of Culture and Strategic Leadership here at the Texas Elementary Principals and Supervisors Association. We are thrilled every week to bring you a different member to spotlight and introduce you to. And today we've got Samuel. Samuel, thank you so much for being here. Tell everybody a little bit about who you are.
So like I said, my name's Samuel. I'm Northeast Texas, right where we meet up with Arkansas. I'm on the Texas side of the line, obviously, as a member of TEPSA, but I've been an educator for 11 years. This is my fourth year as an assistant principal. I've worked in special ed, gen ed, all in that elementary primarily, but I have had good fortune of working summer school with middle school, which always makes me see the urgency of what we're doing at the elementary level.
Yeah,
I've got three amazing sons. They're all they are 9, 6, nope, just turned 7 last weekend. So 9, 7, and 4. I have a wonderful wife who's a former educator herself, and our family as a whole, we're always just looking for ways to work in education. So
I love it. I love it. Well, Samuel, I always love learning about people's paths. And so looking at your path to education in general, did you always know that you wanted to be in education, or was it something that came along the road differently? How did it happen for you?
I just kind of stumbled and fell face first into it, but it was not my original intent. One of my first jobs in high school, I worked for a summer at a ranch for kids with special needs. And so in that moment, I knew I wanted to do something with working with kids, but I thought I was going to grow up and be a doctor and be an orthopedic surgeon. Made great grades all the way through high school, but then I got to college and realized that wasn't, I didn't have the drive to do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And so I ended up as a business finance major at Washington Baptist University. Go Tigers. For the alma mater there. But so I did that for a couple of years, and she's my wife now, but then my then former college girlfriend and I had started dating again. She was a teacher and I was volunteering in her classroom. And I just remember it was two things. One, I liked the idea of what I was doing, but I didn't enjoy it for every day.
Yeah.
And working in finance and insurance company, and being really fired up and angry about some of the plights of the kids that I got to work with, and just remembering my past and remembering times where I was kind of afraid as a learner, and just knowing that that's where they were.
Yeah.
So I could see that their actions that were, they were not okay and they needed to be corrected, but I could see the source, kind of from my own background. So it's kind of one of those moments where I was like, man, somebody needs to do something. And I was also hating where I was. And so there was just like a light bulb clicked. And I was like, why not you? So and I did an alt-cert program, but with a master's education level coursework.
Yeah.
That requirement. And I did my student teaching year in a behavior unit classroom students. And then just, haven't looked back. So
I love it. Well, when we're in the classroom teaching and we're doing all that different stuff, sometimes that itch of administration comes, or sometimes somebody tells you they see you in a role like that. What was that light bulb moment for you that you thought, I might want to step out of the classroom and try some other leadership opportunities?
Well, so going back to that job I had when I was in high school, once I got into the classroom, I was reminded by that, and kind of that sparked interest for working with kids with special needs. So the end goal for me, from an early point, was to try to become get involved in the SPED office, some capacity, depending on what they had. So that was all. And after I think my 6th year in education, maybe 5th, my principal told me that she'd recommended me for a leadership academy that the district I worked for put on.
Oh, cool.
And, but to do that, you had to be enrolled in a master's program. One kind of led to the other. And then, so I did that, finished that up, and then started applying for assistant principal jobs. And here I am.
I love it. Well, you've been assistant principal now for a few years. pre-COVID and during COVID.
Right.
What do you feel like is something that you've really learned or unexpectedly experienced being a school leader?
I think one of the things that has caught me off guard, and caught me off guard early, and when I realized it was, as a school leader, you don't always realize how different other people ran until you're a school leader. You don't realize how different other people run their classrooms.
Yep.
From the way you did it until you see that nobody does it the way you did it.
Right.
I think I wasn't ready to make that adjustment at first, working with teachers. It caught me off guard, but just seeing how effective people can be and do it different from the way I would do it, or the way I even should do it, because they need to do things the way that work for them. And I think pairing that with just kind of getting a little window of school before COVID, and then hopefully now that we're at least trending,
right,
pairing that with the need for grace for us in the administrative role, I think that's so important. And empathy. And I know that everybody listening to this wants that for the students, and we've got to remember to keep that at the forefront while we're working with teachers. And that gets passed on that way.
Well, I can so deeply relate to your lesson that you learned about how the teachers are not always going to be like you were in the classroom. I was not expecting that at all. I was like, I don't do anything special. Like, everybody does this. And then I was like, oh, people do it differently, and sometimes do it way better than I was doing it. So
right.
I love that you shared that. Well, Samuel, one of the ways we love to end these conversations is by leaving something for our listeners or viewers. Maybe it's a tip, a tool, a lesson you learned, an experience you want to share. What do you have for our members today?
Well, I think that kind of going back to that realization just of how different it can be, by the way people are going to do things. But I think really with kids right now, we struggle as educators to think, man, we didn't do it that way. Mm-hmm. But, even the kids 10 years ago didn't do it this way, but that was okay. Yeah. But it's okay that they do it this way now, and this is where they are. And I think when we can realize that, our kids are different, our world is different. And, maybe that shows up with trauma training, or maybe that shows up with something else. But I guess I'll stop rambling. And my tip would be, look for ways to identify how our kids are different before before something's glaring us in the face. And if we can meet before it really presents a ugly face, maybe we can make a stronger impact.
I love that. Well, Samuel, I'm so glad that our members got to hear from a fellow member here in Texas, an assistant principal. So, Samuel, if people want to connect with you, are you on any social media or anything?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. It's just Samuel Coston, no spaces, no dots. I've been on there for a while. I'm pretty erratic with it, so it may be a picture of my kid, and then it may be from something, and then it may be an original thought. But I'm on there. I am on Facebook and Samuel Coston, and also Instagram, which is pretty much only my kids. So I don't think anybody out there is going to really be too interested. And I'm on LinkedIn. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Samuel, thank you so much for being here. And thank you, everybody, for listening or watching another episode of TEPSA Presents. Join us next week for an all-new member spotlight. And if you haven't yet, signed up for our TEPSA Summer Conference, where you can meet many of these members we feature in person at the Kalahari Resort June 8th through 10th. We hope to see you there.